Hey, just wanted to say real quick that this does not work for every Massey square baler. Some older balers, 4x4 balers, have different trip arms, and this is just for the 2270 XDs and other
Alright, we got a stepper trip arm here. This just got put back on. This nuts are still loose here, and it needs to be all adjusted. Now don't worry about this here. This is a little bit goofy still, because that is not home. Well, I guess kinda it is, but not good enough. So we're gonna work on the blocks here for right now. So this is still loose. Make sure it's snugged up just a little bit. This is just a 3/4. And all you're gonna do, you're gonna lift up your bar and you're gonna pull it back. Just so it's on right there. You can see, get a good look up in there. It has got to be just barely on there. I've seen many balers where it's too far on. It needs to be just barely on there. Before you even think about touching your spring, make sure that that gap is okay. So I'm just gonna tighten her up and then we'll look at the spring. Probably. It seems so. All right, I get these two knots tight here. Now we're gonna do the spring. Now, you kind of have to think of it almost like major and minor. That's not a good way to say it, but basically this is going to be your big adjustment here, these two blocks. And this is kind of your fine tuning. So if you're out in the field and you see all of a sudden, well, we do a lot of straw balance, so we like to run 30 to 40 flakes, but all of a sudden you see 60, 70 flakes, you're not gonna come out here and adjust the spring halfway down the thread. You know, you gotta mess with this first. Once it gets kind of close, or once you're happy with how this is running, then you can touch your spring. So this actually didn't get moved a whole lot from where it was, but you just take your wrench on here like this and you start adjusting. There's often not a great way to know kind of where it needs to be, but you can kind of give it a try. I think the Baler Bible, the service book, says 170 millimeters spring length here.
170 millimeters is where you want to start with.
You can try it. I can kind of see my mark there from where it was before last year. I'm going to put it back there and we're going to call it good. This is kind of an in the field type of deal. You know, just your flakes. The tighter you make this spring, the less flakes you have. The further on the block you are, the less flakes you'll have. The further off, get just a tiny little bit. I think it's supposed to be 1/16 of an inch, technically.
Yes.
Less flakes. So, there you go. Alright, the last thing we gotta do is adjust this, call it the wishbone. One of them things, who knows what it's really called. Wishbone, boomerang, but we call that thing up there for tripping the knotters, the boomerang. So, anyway, you see this adjustment here. This one's actually not too far off, but I think it needs to come down a little bit off this. Just a little bit. It needs to be kind of right, just right on there with the center of this roller. So to do that, you got to take your 2 3/4 inch wrenches. There's 2 jam nuts on this. Break both those jam nuts loose, first of all. Alright, get those little jam nuts broke loose. This one you just turn that way, this one you turn that way, and you hold your other wrench on here. And then, this should be nice and loose. You can just turn that with your fingers. And as you turn it, and just turn it with my fingers, you can just see that moving there. So we want to go almost all the way off. That looks pretty good right there. And so now we tighten it back up. Pretty simple. Alright, so there we go. We're looking good there. Stuffer should trip normally. Everything looks alright.